Thanks a lot for staying with us on TVC Breakfast. So with election nearing at its peak, tension is high across Edo State as the September 21 election date approaches. It's expected to be a fiercely contested poll by the three major political parties in the country. That's APCs, well, in Edo State ahead of the elections. The three major parties are represented by the APC's Monday Okwebolo, the PDP's Aswe Godalo, and for the Labour Party, Olumide Akpata is the governorship candidate. In the last few months, the 18 political parties and their candidates have all been engaged in serious campaigns, moving across the state to promote their programs to the people. Besides the election being a three-horse race, the forthcoming poll is peculiar in several ways, especially in the rivalry between the PDP and the APC. TVC News senior reporter Theophilus Elama, who is in Edo State, tells us more.
The atmosphere in Edo State is beaming with excitement as residents of Edo State eagerly await the opportunity to choose their next governor. The three frontrunners are slugging it out at the poll, asking residents to give them an opportunity to serve. But residents believe that this election will be a watershed.
I want to believe that talking about security, I think on that very day, I don't think anything of insecurity will happen. Despite the fact that the security in the country will know the way they are, but I want to also believe that it will be peaceful.
I'm really hoping and clearing for everybody to not just stay at home and expect change. It's when we come out in masses, that's when we can be able to decide who rules us. Sitting at home doing nothing or just believing that it's going to be the same process every time will not move this nation forward. I love Nigeria. I'm a good citizen. In my next life, I would like to come back as a Nigerian.
In separate interviews, both the APC and the PDP believe their candidates will coast home to victory.
We believe if God is on our side, we don't need INEC, we don't need the security agencies. You know, two people that we need is God Almighty, and they are two people. And we are confident that what we have done so far, God will support us because God looks at the heart. God sees the heart and he realizes that our candidate means well for Edo State. Edo people know Monday Okwebolo. They don't know the candidate of the PDP. You know, they are still trying to sell him.
I don't think they would be so dumb as to finger PDP and say PDP is distributing anything to induce people. Everybody knows Governor Obaseki is the most financially prudent governor in Nigeria and has used legal processes to prosecute all the impediments he had met in his political race. Aswe Godalo is one of the most respected bastions in the corporate industry. And if you ask everybody, they will tell you one uniform testimony about him: his integrity.
As Edo residents gear up for the elections come September 21st, one thing is on their mind despite the political differences, that they want a free, fair and peaceful election. Theophilus Elama, TVC News, Edo State.
Let's talk about the level of preparations in Edo State now ahead of Saturday's election. We have joining us in the studio public affairs analyst, is also a journalist, Charles Ideho. Good to see you again.
Yeah, that's right.
You won't be alone in your analysis this morning. All we have joining us live from Edo, lawyer, former chairman of Ego Local Government Council, Nosa Adams. Thank you for joining us. We'll begin in the studio here.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. We'll begin in the studio here. Charles, so more than 2 million voters, you know, have already collected their PVCs. What's it looking like for you in terms of the awareness, you know, of what is at stake ahead of Saturday's election for the voters?
Well, I think this is very heartwarming that people are beginning to get this awareness. When you look at the figures from INEC, by 170,000 new entrants, some of them transfers from other states into to be eligible to vote in Edo State. So it tells you that people are becoming aware, and they also want a change for that state, a state that they call the heartbeat of the nation. So it's not unexpected, because the stakes are high. You have a sitting governor of the PDP that will want a continuation, a retention of his mandate. I mean, the baton handed over to somebody else coming, as well as Oleme Godalo. And then you also have APC. APC has not been in government for quite a while, since 2016, if I'm not mistaken. When the man who is there now, he jumped ship. So they also want to, because even very at the heart of the APC at the center, they also want to regain Edo State, because Edo State is like, once you get Edo State, you have an inroad into South-South. So it's like the gateway into South-South. So the APC at the center also want Edo as a state they want to have in their kitty, being very, very strategic in the manner of speaking. So people they want to keep people who believe that Obaseki has done well. They want somebody who is going to be continuing from where he stopped. They are offbeat, but people are saying, people who also believe that he has not done well, that they actually want a change. People who want to get connected to the center, they are also thinking that APC is going to help them. Right. Yeah.
Let's go to Nosa Adams. You're in Edo State, so I'm sure you will be able to, feel the pulse of the people ahead of the election on Saturday. So can you talk to us about what it's like in Edo State and what's your own perception of how INEC is preparing ahead of Saturday's polls?
Well, thank you once again. To the best of my knowledge and to a very reliable extent, we are prepared in Edo State for the election. We are on ground, and from what I've seen so far, INEC is fully prepared. They have marshaled out their line of action, and it's being followed up meticulously. And above all, the tension and the palpable fear generated by the statements, by the very dangerous and most disappointing statements that were coming from the governor of the state, the security agencies have also prepared to live up to expectations. Because when those statements were coming out, it was generating fears and tension. A situation where the state governor will tell you that the election that is coming is a do or die, and we publicly announce to Edo State residents that the election for him and for his supporters is a do or die, is most unpatriotic, I must make bold to say. But the security agencies, from all indications, has prepared to march west with action as to curtail any probable or likely threat to peace and orderliness in the conduct or in the run-off to the election and during the election. So, generally speaking, apart from the very, like I said earlier, disturbing moves and utterances that is coming from the PDP across the state, both from the governor, from the PDP state chairman, from the PDP stakeholders, from PDP's principal leaders that are issuing threats and very disturbing statements. The preparation on the side of INEC and law enforcement agencies is very much in place, and I can say without fear of contradiction that preparation is on top gear, and we are on course in Edo State. We are very much on course to the extent as to allow us to exercise our franchise. It's only when there is a probable movement towards manipulation and unfair treatment that the governor is meting out to some of the opposition members, like not allowing opposition to erect billboards, not allowing opposition to mount or paste posters. These things are just threats to peace and peaceful conduct of the election. But to sum it all up and answer your question in a straight line is to say that preparation so far is on top gear, and things are well in order.
Mr. Nosa, let me also put this question to you, and I would like Charles Ideho here to also respond. We've established it's not a secret that it's a three-horse race: the APC, PDP, and the Labour Party. People have said, though, that it's not three men. It's not these three men, the governorship candidates of these parties. It's even four. Adding the former governor, who is now a senator, Adams Oshiomhole, a member, of course, a chieftain of your party, the APC. In your words, how will you describe the value that the intense campaigns, especially from Comrade Oshiomhole, how will you describe the value he has brought to your party's campaign?
Well, it is clear and discerning. Because this is a man who served as governor for 8 years. And in that 8 years, he was able to distinguish himself and endeared himself to the people of Edo State's heart. And he was able to popularize his principles and hypotheses. And today, the man is loved by virtually everybody in Edo State. That is why you say wherever he goes, you see crowd following him. If Oshiomhole goes to any part of Edo State and he steps out of his car, you will see crowd pulling along with him. That is to tell you the extent he was able to endear himself to the heart of the people of Edo State. This is a man who was able to introduce the principle of one man, one vote. And he turned into a sing-song in Edo State. He was able to introduce what is called now known as Oshiomhole's Red Roof. He was able to work out a mass deflooding project, a Benin water storm project. And the project was so much in action as to remove water from very, very unexpected locations, like Silokoro that was referred to as Teacher's House River with Mami water, in Sonoro, in Yoba, the GRA extension, where they used to have massive flooding. Oshiomhole was able to organize a Benin water storm project. And today, people live in those areas without being disturbed. That is the area you have now where there is rain. Where there is rain, the flood system there doesn't disturb anybody. And it was able also to organize the civil service in such a way that you don't bring a consultant to come and recruit workers for the state. The Civil Service Commission and the Local Government Service Commission were involved as directly the ones that recruit people that are needed for the workforce in the civil service. So in all, Oshiomhole was the only governor who was able to bring out 100 million and give it to market women to support their business. Oshiomhole has been able to follow the footsteps of Ambrose Ali and Dr. Ese Ogbemudia. So they go to Edo North. He gave them a university, unprecedented. He gave them a university.
So it is fitting that
gave us a university in Benin. The second university in Benin was to be in the capital.
So, Mr. Nosa, it is fitting that Comrade Oshiomhole
has brought value.
A prominent figure in the campaign.
I would say Oshiomhole has brought value to our campaign any day, any time, because it's a man that is so loved by the people of Edo State. You and I know that Oshiomhole is a phenomenon, a very positive phenomenon in Edo State politics. Nobody can.
Let me put you on hold
because it's incontrovertible.
Allow me to put you on hold, Mr. Nosa, and compare your assessment of the campaign, especially from the APC, with that of Charles Ideho here.
Okay.
What do you think?
Well, I think what the gentleman is saying back in Edo State, in Benin City, is what I personally quarrel with. Okay, so you have a candidate that is coming, is offering his services to the people. That's Senator Monday Okpewolo, but we have not been able to actually assess this man properly. Oshomale's image is tending to blow him into oblivion. All right? You just saw what lawyer Nosa said. Everything about is Oshomale, Oshomale, Oshomale. Can we at least see this man? Can we at least see what he's able to do? Does he have antecedent he can throw into the ring for us to say, okay, he's able to carry this through for a new Edo that they want to build? Oshomale is good. He's done his own. He left government in 2016, if I'm not mistaken. So why do we continue to talk about Oshomale when we have a new kid on the block? So can they allow us to look at this man, Senator Modokwe of the APC, to assess him based on his personal pedigree, based on personality? Because even if you go on campaigns, I've watched campaigns and all that, out of about maybe about 30 minutes that they are going to be talking, okay, let's say 1 hour. Oshomale will speak for about 1 hour 45 minutes, 15 minutes for the candidate that we have not been able to assess. So say, okay, if this man is able to deliver the goods for Edo people, that's the problem I have with it.
But then, if you look at it on the other side, yes. hang on, Mr. Nosa, we still have time. We'll get back to you. But you would agree that, things like this are not exactly peculiar.
No. As I said, personally, I mean, I'm from Edo State. I'm a stakeholder. I mean, I used to be state public secretary of a party there, over there. I mean, for about 2 years, I returned again to continue my media business. What I'm saying is this, Kemi, we want to employ you to be a presenter of this studio. Shouldn't we assess you to know your competencies? If, for instance, you can do the job, you can deliver the job, but somebody who is your reference, your referee, is the one we're hearing from. So how can we assess you? That's why I said I have a problem. Oh, by the way, I met him. I mean, I was in Benin in June when I was invited there when they inaugurated their campaign team. I was there. I witnessed everything. I saw him. I shook hands with some of them and all that. I saw him. Somebody who is done well for himself, done well for his people within the sun. Okay, seeking boreholes where there were no borehole. I know that he has done a lot. But can we see him? Can we feel him? Can we assess him based on what he's coming to give to Edo people? So that Oshomale can hold the ladder out for him. The man was speaking. But Oshomale should not cast what I call a cloudy atmosphere upon this man who is coming to serve if he wins. Okay. That's where I have the problem. Even Nosa, he's also everything like more than 5 minutes to be talking. It's Oshomale. It's not Oshomale. Because
he was answering my question.
But it's not Oshomale that's offering his services. It's not Oshomale that's putting up himself to say, okay, let the citizenry or let those citizens vote for him.
All right, Charles, you've had your say. Let's.
My brother.
No,
can I just say
very quickly? I just want to try to break down what he's trying to say. What we're trying to say is that to an extent, from what you have said, it will seem as though this is a proxy election between major stakeholders in that election, and perhaps this will have an influence in how the voters will vote in the election on Saturday. Talk to us about that.
Now, hello, are you hearing me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Now, let me clear a point here. Distinguished Senator Kwebolo and his running mate, Right Honorable Dennis Idahosa, these are people who have distinguished themselves already. They've shown that they are electable, they are dependable, they are reliable, and they are trustworthy people. And that is what we need today in Edo State. We need people who have been tested. Now, let me start. I'm happy my brother there mentioning that Okpewolo has done well for himself. Okpewolo is a household name in Ishan today, not because he's contesting for gubernatorial election now. He has been a household name, and that's why he was nicknamed Akpakomiza. Okpewolo has distinguished himself in virtually all the facets. Now, is it somebody who contested and won an election and campaigned in 5 local government areas of Asian land and won massively that you will say you have not heard from? Is this a distinguished senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria you will say you have not heard from? Is this somebody who went to primaries with 17 others and came out first that you say you have not heard from. Okpebholo is just a tactician. He knows his owners. He knows how to prioritize his target. What Okpebholo is doing today is to reach out to the voters, going from ward to ward, to unit, from unit to unit. Okpebholo knows that what he needs now is a don't post vote. No studio vote, no social media vote. And he knows how to get the votes. And Okpebholo has been able to show that in this game, you have to go to the grassroots, get the votes. He doesn't believe in razzmatazz. He doesn't believe in funfair. He just believes in going to capture the area. That is what I like about him. He's a man that is so organized and is so prioritized his target, his needs.
Now he's come back to what I said.
You know his needs. At this point in time, he has prepared a well-marshaled manifesto, highly chiseled. And he has told us, in this locality, I will do this. In this locality, I will do this. And he has gone around the 192 wards in Edo State. And he has been able to pick paper and pen and put down what their needs are. And that is what has been lacking in governance for the past 8 years or thereabouts. And he only want to take the same route where somebody will be so rhetorical. Somebody that will be brandishing a laptop, have very beautiful things in laptop, talk so sweet talk. Everything he will tell you, you will want to hear his voice, sonoring voice, melodious voice.
All right.
No. He picked his paper and pen and went around the 192 wards to talk to them, interact with them, speak the language they understand. Okpebholo is a localite like me, like very many of us. We are tired of Lagos boys and we are tired of importees.
Mr. Nosa, all right, that's it.
Lagos boys. We want localites now who know our needs, who know our feelings, who know our yearnings, who know our aspirations, who know how to prioritize our target.
If you can hear me, let's
know how to prioritize our demands.
We'll come back to you.
If you come to my street here now, I will tell you what I need in my street here now. It's just roads. We have everything here, but the only we have here is roads. But go to somewhere like GRA, close to the government house. Close to government house, what they need there is drainage. Good roads. Even government house, what they need is good roads. And Okpebholo is trying to get at the target. What is your need? What is your need? That is by the way.
Kindly hold that thought. Kindly hold that thought.
You will hear what Lenko has done.
I need to bring in Charles Ideho now. Please hold that thought. I need to bring in Charles Ideho now. We'll come back to you surely. So that's for the APC. On the flip side now, let's quickly look at the chances of the PDP. Governor Obaseki has served out his 2 terms, but somehow he's also in the race. His candidate is contesting.
That's it. Well, Obaseki, of course, is done. This is his the 8th year and the last lap of his mandatory 2 terms. Okay, so he's going to be serving out his 2 terms, and then that's why he's bringing somebody he feels that he knows. Aswelimen, the one he called Aswe Udalo, who, of course, a lot of people are also accusing that Obaseki himself is also trying to also play what Oshomole is playing, not allowing even the candidate to be seen as well. That's exactly my quarrel with all this is. When people put themselves up for them to say they want to offer their own services, okay, for the people, let them tell us what they have, not people speaking, say some of this thing by proxy. So has it done well? Yes. In the corporate world, he's got records that he can flaunt. Chairman of this, chairman of that, chairman of this, and one legal firm they say is very striving. He was one who established that. So he's also done well for himself.
Now,
yes. But again, what he's done in the corporate world is a different ballgame when it has to come when you come to the political issues of. So how much of those does he know? That's another thing people are asking. Of course, even jocularly, people even say that he doesn't speak his language, that even when he went to where he comes from, that he needed an interpreter. So a lot of people are also making a new subject, even though it really doesn't matter. Okay, but even Abrosali, who he mentioned earlier, when he was there in the UPN's days, Abrosali didn't speak much of Hausa. and he was the governor of Bende State, as known today, Edo Delta. So linguistic factors should not be anything people should, that should be held against anybody. So I believe that according to people, that one or two things that the present government has done, that they can front that, and in favor of Aswa Ighodalo. So, but again, it remains to be seen. It is the electorate of Edo that will be deciding whether Obaseki has done well, PDP has done well to say, okay, they want to renew the mandate for that party to continue for another 4 years if it's first stanza. If they say no, they want a change, they will just want to have a taste of another party, well, they also have the right to say, okay, they want to take the baton over to the other party that is opposition in the states as we speak. But for Olumide Akpata, if you, can I go there? Okay, yeah, Olumide Akpata, well, it's also what he's bringing, if not for the fact that Labour movement actually made a quite, they made good showing in the 2023 election because of the influence of the obedient movement, the youth, which of course gave victory to even the man who represents Nosa at the National Assembly in the Red Chamber. This man was relatively unknown, but because of the popularity of the obedient movement, the man today now is in the Senate. That's because Labour Party is the party that represents Edo South in the Senate. Because of the obedient movement popularity. So, which is what Olumide want to fly in that flag of the popularity of the obedient movement. Then he was chairman of NBA for some time. So, yeah, president. So he's done well for himself. But I wouldn't know whether the obedient movement factor can still have it to play. Then one other thing is also having in his favor is the fact that it's agreed by over 80% of Edo that the pendulum of leadership should shift to Edo Central. Because Edo stands on a tripod. Okay, you have the Edo South, and then you have the Edo Central, you have the Edo North, where I come from. So power, leadership pendulum have been oscillating between Edo North and Edo South since 2008. So they feel that that's too long a time for you to say one aspect. The third leg should not aim to have it. So which is why the two parties, PDP and APC, decided to surrender their flags to Esan, which is central. But Olumide Akpata is from Edo speaking. That's Benin speaking. Benin speaking is where Obaseki, the outgoing is. So if he wins by Providence, are you saying that Benin speaking should now hand over the baton to Benin speaking? Right. Mm. So those are the issues. These are big questions. Yes. Right. Yes.
All right. Let's go back to Nosa. You know, some persons will say, is it really the language itself that builds schools, that construct roads and other development in the state? But before you address that, how do you react to the PDP's concern about the affiliation of the Residents Electoral Commissioner to the former Rivers State Governor? Is that really a source for concern? And also the allegation that to an extent the APC is using the federal influence in this election. Does this come into play here?
Hello, can I come in?
Sure. Yes, you can.
Hello?
We can hear you, Mr. Nosa. Carry on, please.
Yeah. Can I, now let us look at it this way. The first question is, or let me quickly just say what in reply to what my brother said. The chances of APC is not just bright for the fun of it. It's not politics. If you look at it, 90% of all the political gladiators are all sitting or have teamed up with Modokbebolo of the APC for very obvious reasons. The governor has balkanized the PDP. He has bastardized the PDP by creating so much crisis. So everybody is thinking of APC. Labour was a factor in the last general election, like he said, because of the obedient movement. Obedient movement factor has been so deflated to the extent that there is no subsisting executive for Labour Party in Edo State as we speak. And it is ditto to all the local government and ward levels. Now, the same Labour movement that was a factor was only a factor in the Edo South and predominantly in the metropolis of Ikobaoka, Oredo, and the Igolo government area. But like he rightly said, there is this general consensus that the governorship ticket should be ceded to the Edo Central people. And that was the consensus that was violated by the Labour Party. Olumide Akpata is from the same local government with the outgoing governor. So you cannot have the governor from the same local government with the outgoing governor. That is most unfair, that is not equitable, and that is very, very unjust. So that alone has finished Labour Party in Edo State. If you watch the kind of movement they used to have, the kind of crowd they used to pull in the last local government election, they don't have it now. So they have manifestly defeated themselves before the election. Then on the other hand, I want to tell you, there's this saying that, show me your friend, I will tell you whom you are. We keep talking about Shomole because Shomole is sweet to be associated with, because he's an achiever. And Okpewolo himself has shown that by association, he will do well because he's moving people of goodwill. On the other hand, the PDP candidate is having a problem because he's carrying a baggage of terrible setbacks as orchestrated by Godwin Obaseki, the outgoing governor.
If you can hear me,
Obaseki has performed so poorly in virtually all the sectors. He has ruined the economy when he came to Edo State, before he took over Edo State.
I'm hoping you can hear me, Nosa.
It was Edo State, we're having just less than 60 billion debt. But today, Edo State is indebted to the tune of more than 600 billion. That is appalling. He brought bogus projects that he cannot execute, but they are very beautiful on the laptop, very beautiful on the PowerPoint, but they are not on ground. I will give you 5 projects. He promised the people of Edo North he was going to give them airport in Auchi. And he brought in a consultant and he paid the consultant billions of naira. Today there is no airport. He told the people of Edo South he was going to give them cassava farm in Sobe. And he put in close to 30 billion to that project. Today there is no cassava farm. It's taken over by weeds. He told us he was doing Edo best and he turned out to be Edo worst. That today you have less than just 3 teachers. There is no school that have more than 3 teachers. And there is, you go to primary schools, you go to secondary school, no seat, no roof, no desk, no teachers. And you brandish and you are celebrating. Don't bear, what are you celebrating? Then you go to health sector. Today in the whole of Edo State Health Management Board, we have less than 10 doctors in the whole of Edo State. To the extent that you go to any street in Edo State, you see hospital, private hospitals.
All right, thank you, Nosa.
So you go, Obaseki has performed so poorly that nobody wants to associate with him. And I keep reinstating it. Is it not a fact with virtually all the stakeholders in Edo State? He will fight the traditional institution as presented by the Oba of Benin. He will fight the Christian community. He will fight the political class. He will fight the judiciary. He's at war with virtually everybody, every sector that have a stake in the Edo project.
Mr. Charles here to
so, and Adalodaro is his special advisor. I mean, Igodaro, sorry, Igodaro of Alagodaro. He's his special advisor and his economic coordinator.
Very much for speaking with us.
So, to the extent that everything that is being done by Obaseki is purely extracted from the advice of Aswe Igodalu.
Quickly, just wrap up this conversation, talking about the role of the APC, you know, and the PDP is concerned about the affiliation of the Residents Electoral Commission.
Yes, and Mr. Anugum Onoha, which of course is a cousin. I mean, they have filial relations. I mean,
does that really matter?
Even Wiki also confirmed the fact that they're related. He was a commissioner and essay on lands under his administration, but I don't think he has anything to do because he's there. He's not going. The election will not take place in his office. Okay, so elections are going to be taking place at polling booths across Edo State, and then there are electoral officers there, the polling unit people who are going to be they're going to be having a screenshot of all the election materials and their results, which of course they're going to be entering into whatever the materials, which they will now upload into what they call IRF, election viewing, INEC result viewing portals. So all these portals will not be, the man will not be in charge of all this. So I think for me, you know, the politicians have a way of creating sensations. So in order to divert attention from, so for me, the relationship between what's his name, Wike and this man, Wike is even of the PDP, because he's serving on in this government. Maybe that's why they're having the concern. So for me, I don't think it's any issue that has any substance to rely upon. That's the way I see it, honestly. Yes. I'm
afraid we've run out of time, but we must thank you, Charles Ideho, for your contributions on the program. We really look forward to free and fair polls and, you know, favorable reports from Edo State as residents head out to vote on Saturday. We must also thank the former chairman of EGO, Local Government Council, Nosa Adams of the All Progressives.
Can I just make sure a word?
Thanks a lot for your time. I'm afraid we've run out of time. We need to take a break and come back for much more on the program. Stay with us. Still ahead, the Nigerian